The lease said no known mold. The paint was fresh. The property manager smiled. 3 weeks later, my closet smelled like a wet basement, and the only thing fresh was the lie. I didn't yell. I documented. I called inspectors. And then I watched their lawyer write numbers I didn't think I'd ever see. I'm Jordan Reyes, 28, product designer who moved to Seattle because coffee and rain sounded romantic. The building looked like the Instagram version of vintage charm. Brick exterior, crown molding, those skinny radiators that hiss like gossiping cats. Rent wasn't cheap, but nothing is here. I signed fast because my start date was in 10 days dot. The lease packet had a mold addendum. Checkbox. Owner has no knowledge of mold. I initialed. The manager, Claire, slid a key across the desk. If anything pops up, she said, submit a work order in the portal. She had the kind of smile that says nothing ever pops up. The first week was fine. Week 2, I opened my hall closet and got hit with a mix of pennies, wet dirt, and gym socks. I pulled out my winter coat. The fabric was damp, like it had been in a fog bank. I checked the ceiling. No stains. I checked the carpet, cool to the touch. I told myself it's Seattle. Everything is damp. I bought a small dehumidifier and one of those cheap humidity meters. It read 69% in the closet, 54% in the living room. Not great dot by week 3, I spotted it. Gray-green freckles blooming along the baseboard behind the shoe rack. I took a photo with a 1/4 for scale, uploaded it to the portal, and wrote, possible mold in hall closet. Strong odor. Please inspect. Maintenance came fast, Eric. A guy who looked like he'd fix 500 sinks and didn't want to fix a 500 first. He glanced, shrugged. Just surface mildew. Happens when folks take hot showers and keep doors closed. I'll hit it with bleach. He returned with a spray bottle and a stiff brush. 10 minutes later, the spots were lighter. The smell was not. He left a note, treated. With bleach, recommend fan use. I like hot showers. I also like breathing. I started keeping the bathroom fan on and cracked the closet door. I ran the dehumidifier 24/7. The humidity meter still hovered in the mid-60s in the closet. By week 4, the freckles were back, bigger, and now there was a faint shadow creeping up from the baseboard like something spilled and never dried. Logged a second work order, no response. I emailed Claire with photos. She replied within an hour, per your lease, tenant is responsible for moisture control. Keep windows open and fan on. Looks like mildew, not mold. So I did what anxious. People with Wi-Fi do, I researched. I learned 3 things. Bleach doesn't fix mold on porous materials, like drywall and wood. Mildew versus mold is a distinction that doesn't matter when you're coughing. Moisture over 20% in drywall is a red flag for hidden leaks. If they were going to treat me like I was dramatic, I was going to get boring. Boring like a spreadsheet. I bought a pinless moisture meter. I started logging readings. Closet wall at 22% moisture content. Shared wall with the bathroom at 25%. I logged humidity daily at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. I took time-stamped photos. I recorded the bathroom fan model and looked it up. It wasn't ducted outside. It just churned damp air in a circle above my shower. I knocked on my neighbor's door. It was green. Late 60s, librarian energy. Oh, honey, she said. You smell it too? She'd lived there 14 years. They painted over my laundry room wall last winter. Said it was cosmetic. That night, after another email to Claire bounced back with, please use the portal, I read my lease. It had the usual quiet enjoyment and no illegal activity and a line about habitability. Another page required written notice to cure defects before remedies like rent withholding. Remedies. I highlighted that word. The next morning, I sent a certified letter to the corporate address and Claire, notice of habitability defect. It listed the timeline, photos, humidity, and moisture readings, and requested license remediation within 7 days. I asked for 2 things. 1, proper diagnosis by a third-party mold professional. And 2, temporary relocation of demolition. Was required. Their response came fast and casual. An email from Claire. We'll have Derek repaint Thursday. Please be home. I replied, paint is not remediation. Please confirm a licensed remediation contractor and inspection. No reply. Day. 8. I filed a complaint with the city's code enforcement. The form asked for odors, visible growth, leaks, and whether I'd given notice. Yes, unknown, yes. 2 days later, I had an appointment. Inspector Patel knocked at 9:02 a.m., wearing a city badge and the expression of someone who has seen every version of "it's just mildew." He didn't even flinch at my spreadsheet. He used his thermal camera on the closet wall. The screen showed a cold bloom in the bottom corner. He ran his own moisture meter, 28% at the sill plate, 24%. At 2 feet up, he pressed the baseboard gently. It crumbled at the corner. Behind it, black. He took photos. He checked the bathroom. The fan wasn't ducted outside. It vented into the ceiling cavity, which explained why turning it on made the apartment smell like a wet attic. He wrote a notice of violation on a triplicate form right at my kitchen counter. Items required: repair source of water, intrusion by licensed contractor, remove and replace affected porous materials per industry standard. He cited IICRCS 520, properly duct bathroom, exhaust to exterior, provide tenant with remediation plan, and timeline, cease use of paint to conceal moisture damage. Compliance deadline, 14 days. At 11:45 a.m., Claire called. No, hello. Did you really call the city? I really did, I said. They found moisture and issued a notice. Her voice turned tight. You could have worked with us. I sent a certified letter, I said. You offered paint. Silence. Then our contractor will reach out. 2 days later, a man named Randy showed up in a truck with Randy's home renewal on the door. He wore no mask, no booties, and said, I'll just kills it. I didn't let him in. I emailed Claire and attached the city notice. The contractor must follow IICRCS 520. Please send license and scope. She forwarded a 1-line scope. Treat area with antimicrobial paint. I forwarded it to Inspector Patel. He replied in 20 minutes, not compliant. Owner has been notified. Corporate finally looped in their attorney. I got an email from someone with ESC after their name asking to coordinate access for inspection. This, finally, was a good sign. I CC'd the inspector, confirmed access, and emailed back. Please note I have preserved all correspondence and logs. I request that all communications be in writing. Their attorney proposed a mutual walk-away. If I vacated within 7 days, no penalties, deposit returned. He called it expediting resolution. Translation: get out before we demo. I consulted a tenant clinic at a local law school. A volunteer attorney reviewed my lease and the city notice and said, you've done everything right. If you want to leave, we can push for relocation costs and rent abatement. If you want to stay, we can enforce proper remediation and alternate housing. I wanted out. I also wanted them to feel it. With the clinic's help, I sent a demand letter, immediate termination without penalty. Full refund of all rent paid during the affected period. Documented by humidity, moisture logs, closing parenthesis. Return of security. Deposit, $3,200 for damaged property. Coat, 2 suitcases, a shoe rack, and a rug. $2,500 relocation assistance. Within 5 business days, mold remediation by a licensed firm for the unit and adjacent. Wall cavities regardless of my move. No non-disparagement. Clause. Carve out for honest reviews and communications with regulators. I attached a spoliation notice asking them to preserve maintenance logs, work orders, and emails referencing mold, paint, leaks, or fan ducting for my unit and the one above me for the past 24 months. I CC'd the city's general code inbox and put reply by Friday 5 p.m. in the subject line. Claire didn't call this time. The attorney did. We think your numbers are excessive. I said, your paint was excessive. He sighed. Give. Use through Monday. Meanwhile, the city posted a bright orange, unsafe limited entry notice on my door. That did more than any paragraph I could write. People noticed orange dot Miss Green knocked that evening. Did you see this? She pointed to a brown line along her baseboard we hadn't noticed before. Water from my closet wall had seeped under hers. She had old photos from last winter bubbling paint, a work order that said, painted, all set, and a receipt from Randy's home renewal. I forwarded those to the inspector. He widened the notice to include her unit. 2 units with evidence of concealed moisture damage. 2 by Monday. Corporate's tone had shifted from expedite to settle. Their attorney sent a PDF titled Mutual Settlement Agreement. The boomerang settlement they didn't expect. Here's what they offered. Immediate. Lease termination with no penalties. Full security deposit back within 3 business days. Rent. Abatement for the last 2 months, $2,000 relocation stipend. Replied with tracked changes. Keep all of the above. Add $3,200 for damaged property. As itemized with photos and receipts. Add $1,500 for professional cleaning of remaining items. Add $500 for time and expense of independent inspection. They hadn't paid mine. I had a lab swab with sticky batteries and trichomium flagged. Payment within 5 business days, not within 30. No non-disparagement clause. Carve out for truth, regulators, and reviews. If they needed a clause, it had to be mutual. And exclude truthful statements, they haggled. We landed here. Lease terminated, no penalties. Full deposit back in 3 business days. Rent abatement. 2 full months refunded, $3,200. Damaged property reimbursement, $2,500. Relocation stipend within 5 business days via $500. Cleaning allowance, mutual non-disparagement with explicit carve-outs. Truth. Regulators, legal proceedings, and tenant-to-tenant references. They also agreed. In writing, to hire a licensed remediation firm to open walls in both units, fix the leak, replace affected drywall, and properly duct the bathroom fans before. Re-renting. We signed. The ACH hits landed faster than my morning espresso. I booked movers, a short-term rental with actually ducted fans, and a big air purifier that hummed like a small plane, but smelled like nothing. 2 weeks later, I walked past the building on my way to the bus. The orange notices were gone, replaced by gray plastic on windows and a negative air machine's duct snaking to the sidewalk. Real remediation. The kind that should have happened a year ago. Ms. Green left me a voicemail. They fixed my wall and paid for a hotel. Also, I told them about the fan, and the guy nodded like he knew. Thank you. Claire never emailed me again. Her name came up once more on a forwarded maintenance log the city released in response to my public records request. Last winter, a ticket had said, recurring moisture painted, all set. They'd known. No known mold, the addendum said. Cute. If your nose says something's off, believe it. Document everything, photos, humidity, moisture, dates, times. Give written notice. Use certified mail. When they offer paint, ask for an inspector. When they shrug mildew, ask for IICRCS 520 by name. You don't need to scream at a landlord. Who ignores leaks? You just have to invite the one person they can't ignore, an inspector with a clipboard and a citation book. The rest is math, CTA. If you love clean, legal revenge and receipts over rage, hit subscribe. New stories every day.